Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. So recap from our picks. And this is only for the people who showed up. Like I said, before we have football season, our picks and everything, you guys have got to be here. I'm not waiting because, it takes too long for that. So the people that are participating in this is me, Scrub Zero, One True, and S Young and Detroit T. So far, we got one more game left. Detroit T leads 10-4-1. Scrub is second with 8-6-1. Me and S Young are 7-7-1, and last is One True at 6-8-1. So, congratulations, man, Detroit T. Detroit T just went with listening to our analysis and did better than us. But shout out to T, man. Now, I'm recapping the games, and with this, I go over team stats because I watch the game. I break down the game, as well as break down like the stats and everything of that game. So the first game on yesterday, I believe, was that I was watching was Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Pittsburgh dominated Cincinnati the whole game. It wasn't until the end when people are like, "Man, y'all always says this stuff is rigged or it's controlled." I like to use controlled. It's controlled to me, and the thing is that if you're not intelligent on how to watch for that stuff, or you're still plugged in, that's how it's gonna be. So, for some odd reason, they are not showing the team stats of the game because they know the game was bogus. See, they ain't showing no penalties. They're showing no time of possession. They're showing no third down efficiency, nothing. So let me see if I could go somewhere else and get it. Give me a second, y'all. Let's see something. Let me see if I can go somewhere. See if I can find the game. Because they don't want the truth out there. Okay. Guess what? I found it. Now, the first quarter, Pittsburgh had 10 compared to Cincinnati's 3. Second quarter, they had 7 to Cincy's 3. Third quarter, Pittsburgh just didn't do anything because Mitch Trubisky always does this where he disappears. And dog, does he ever disappear? And then fourth quarter, the Steelers had 3 compared to the Bengals 6 because of that. Overtime, Steelers won 3-0. It was sloppy. This game was terrible. I gave this game a D-. This was a D- game. It was terrible. Because the Steelers were playing football. They did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. But then you have the refs trying to control the game. All this allegedly, by the way. The refs were the reason that Joe Burrow got back in the game. Joe Burrow played trash yesterday. That Bengals offensive line trash. So if you're going to think about paying Joe Burrow like a big-time contract, which is going to be probably $400 million or more, you're going to lose that investment because you don't have an offensive line protecting him. You guys kept crying saying, "Man, we got an O-line, huh? We got an O-line. Y'all just hating." Nah, we not hating. We just telling the truth. Y'all some bums. Y'all line is bums. The Bungles always do this. They'll have a great one hot year, and then they go back to being the Bungles. Now, let's look. I don't look at the individual stats. I go by the team stats. Now, Mitch Trubisky, I would go with Kenny Pickett. Everyone's like, "Well, but Mitch is trash." You know what you're going to get with Mitch. It's the same thing with the Niners. You know what you're going to get with Jimmy G. You're going to lose anyway. So what you have to do is You have to see what you have. Kenny Pickett, to me, from watching him, is a very solid quarterback. In the preseason, he did well. Now, a majority was probably against the 2s and the 3s, but he did his thing. A lot of guys don't even look that impressive. And he had very much command of the offense. I like him. I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. I just think he's going to be a solid game manager. I don't see him putting up numbers like that. I just see him getting the job done. Now, total yards, the Bengals have 432 compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers 267. Passing yards, the Bengals had 299 compared to the 192 of the Steelers. The rushing yards, Steelers had 75 compared to the Bengals 133. Bengals were averaging 5 yards per play. The Steelers were averaging 4. First downs, the Bengals dominated 32 first downs to 13 by the Steelers. Now, third down efficiency, you know what I'm saying, you had, they were 415. That was, who was that? Okay, that's the Steelers. The Steelers were 415, which is 27%. That is why you need to put Kenny Pickett in there, because it's going to be games like this where you're going to need your quarterback to be efficient. That's 26%, guys. 27%. Now, Bengals were 50%. They were 8 of 16, third down efficiency, 8 of 16, which is good. For as bad as Burrow was playing, it was actually good. Now, fourth down efficiency, they were 1 and 3 was the Bengals, and of course the Steelers never really had to go for it on fourth down because they were mainly in the driver's seat the whole game until the end where they were getting screwed. Now, let's look at the total plays. The Steelers had 61 total plays called compared to the Bengals 94, which means the Bengals were on the field a lot. So that means the Bengals really didn't do that. They really muffed this game. So the reason the Bengals would lose would basically be turnovers or sacks or things of that nature. Now let's look at they had 94 total plays was the Bengals, 61 Steelers. Now sacks allowed. The Steelers' offensive line is legit. They only had 1 sack allowed. Now, the Bengals had 7 sacks allowed. 7. That's not good. That means Burrow's not going to survive. If you're giving up like 5 to 7 sacks a game, you're not going to have a quarterback about time it's the end of the season. Correct or not correct? Whoever's listening, let me know in the comment section of the live stream. Now, the Steelers had 8 punts. That means that your offense is inept and you guys can't convert third downs. Hence, the third down percentage was what? 27%. So you have to work on that. You have to get that better. To me, I think Kenny Pickett would be better. I'm not rolling with Trubisky. Now, the Bengals only had 3 punts, which is good, but it's also bad because you could only have just 3 punts. Either you're scoring or you're turning the ball over. A lot. Now, this is what changed the game. The penalties. It's when you get the penalties. It's when you run the ball. Don't go by just looking at the stats saying, well, the stats are this, the stats are that, so why are we really getting into it? Because if you didn't watch the game, you're not going to know. When they usually call stuff, they do it at the most crucial times. Hell, there's been games where LeBron James played the game. The other team attempted more free throws, but guess what? They attempted most of their free throws during the first half. Second half, they only got probably 2-3 calls, while LeBron gets like 15, and then it's like 15 or 20 for the total game compared to 37 calls. You guys got to pay attention. Stop falling for the bananas in your tailpipe, please. Now, penalty yards. 8 penalties for 59 yards from the Steelers. 4 penalty yards for the Bengals, and that's 27 yards. So Bengals did well with penalties. The Steelers were getting killed by penalties, lack of third down efficiency. And that's what really was killing the Steelers all game. And they were punting the ball too much. Now, fumbles lost. Interceptions thrown. Steelers were at 0. This is why they won the game. Even though it tried to get taken from them, they won the game because they allowed no turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over. They possessed the ball. Now, here's why the Bengals lost. They had 5 total turnovers, 1 fumble, and 4 interceptions thrown. You can't have that in a divisional game with the team that is defensive oriented, because those teams that are defensive oriented, 9 times out of 10, all they do is run the ball. They keep it out of their quarterback's hands majority of the game. The only time they count on the quarterback is at the end, where Trubisky made a crazy throw in overtime to DeMonte Johnson. I believe that's his name. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section what his name is, number 18. So this is how you play football, people. When you come to my channel, I preach and teach football. Now, time of possession. The Bengals won 43. They had the ball 43 minutes and 43 seconds compared to the Steelers 26 minutes and 17 seconds. So the reason the Bengals lost, people, is because of sacks, turnovers. Sacks and turnovers is why they lost. 5 turnovers, 7 sacks allowed at crucial times. Other than that, the Bengals actually did good, but they were getting saved the whole game. They had the ball for 17 minutes and 26 seconds more than the Steelers. That is incredible. You can't lose that game. But because of turnovers, because of punts and sacks, no, I mean not punts. They did well on that. Sacks allowed hurt them. Okay? So that's my assessment of that game. Offensively, I believe the Steelers need to get a better quarterback. I think Pickett needs to run the show. I think Pickett can move the ball more and make better decisions. Najee Harris getting hurt is really going to hurt their offense. We got to see how long he's going to be out, because without him, they're going to be inept. And if you're lacking on third down from the passing position, you definitely need the running back to control the clock. Seriously, you need that. Now, defensively, the Steelers are legit. But losing TJ Watt is really going to hurt them, because TJ Watt is a force. I think he might be the best pass rusher in the game. Well, he's not. I say Donald is. I still got Donald, probably him, and Khalil Mack. Those are my top 3 right now. Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett may be at the top. But those 4 guys are beasts. And also Bosa out there in Los Angeles Chargers, and you also got the other Bosa in San Fran. And then also you can't forget about Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett's a beast, boy. Yesterday Shaq was destroying. So that's the reason why, guys. And defensively, like I said, TJ Watt, if he's hurt, the Steelers are going to be in trouble. So they need to make sure he's together. Now, the Bengals, you have got to run the ball. You've got to find a way to run the ball. Joe Burrow's not going to last this season if you keep letting him get hit. He's getting hit like he did his first year in the season. And last year, he only was making it because they were giving Mixon the ball more, and then he had Jamar Chase take the pressure off of him. But, guys, you can't live by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase the whole year. You're not going to win the big games that count. That's why y'all lost the Super Bowl. Y'all were too busy trying to throw the goddamn ball instead of run. Your offense is inept. Bengals fans, who they? Y'all who they need to go get a damn line. Y'all need to get an offensive line, because y'all are getting your quarterback killed. Burrow's not going to make it. I'm telling you. And I'm not wishing it on him. I'm knocking on wood. But you guys got to play better, my G, with that offensive line. That offensive line is poorish. Now, let's look at defensively. Defensively, you guys are still not good at linebacker position. Rushing the passer, you guys are pretty good. Your front four is good. But that was mainly because Trubisky's is garbage. When you guys go against a real quarterback, I want to see what you guys can do. Your secondary, you're okay. You guys made some plays for what you did, but I think your defense needs some work. Overall game was a D- to me because of the refs messing it up. The Steelers would have won this by 2 touchdowns or maybe by, I say 10. I ain't going to say 2 touchdowns, probably 10 points, maybe a touchdown. No, well, I'll say 2 because they were up a lot on them. So I think they would have won by 2 touchdowns until the screw job started coming in. But the Bengals can't turn the ball over. They can't allow sacks. That's the only reason they lost the game. Now, that's my assessment of the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Bengals. I'm only talking about the games I watch, people. You know, if you watched another game, then hey, that's cool. But I'm only going over the games that I watch because I want to give you guys a real assessment. Now, remember to tune in. We are having a StreamYard tonight. We're having a StreamYard on the Monday night game, as well as we are going to we're going to have a StreamYard tomorrow in my fantasy league with my brother Kraken, my brother Pico, and my other brother Big D. So make sure you come join us. We're going to talk about who did what and who didn't do anything. Hopefully I can win that one. And my other two, I hope I win. I think I won. I think if I do good tonight, I think I win 3 out of the 4. But the 4th one, I need to win that because we put some bread up in that league. So I got to do better in that league, guys. So sorry for going overboard or going another way with that soliloquy, as a lot of young cats would tell me, man. Dawg HD, chill with the soliloquy. Got you. Now, the Nets game was really a terrible, muddy, old school game. I loved it because it was defense. Cats was getting sprayed everywhere. But I couldn't watch it, really. Okay, so they're not showing the total yards. Okay, so they're not showing a lot of stuff on NFL.com. So what I'm going to do is go over here to Google real quick and type in San Fran. And then I'm going to go over the game with you guys because I like to break down the game. I'm a coach at heart. All right, now, here we go. I don't do individual stats, guys. If you want to do individual stats, please go look them up yourself. I do a team. I only talk about the team. I don't care about individualism. Now, here we go. Now, the team stats, the total yards, the San Francisco 49ers had 331 total yards. The Bears had 204. Passing yards, San Fran was at 155 yards. Not bad being in the conditions it was in and the first-time quarterback in Trey Lance. The Bears, 105. Rushing yards, the Bears had 99. The Niners had 176. Yards per play, San Fran was averaging 5 yards per pop, while the Bears were averaging 4. Now, first downs, about even. San Fran had 17 compared to the Bears' 15. Now, third down efficiency. Okay, third down efficiency, guys. Okay, the third down efficiency, the Niners were 8. They were 8 of 17, which they were 47%. That's not bad. That's good for the conditions they were in. That's why I was trying to tell Chance and everybody, dog, the Niners are going to be good. Y'all are going to be dangerous because y'all take care of the ball and y'all don't make dumb decisions. And only problem with Kyle Shanahan is situational football, to close the game, to win the big games. That's his only problem. But as far as coaching, Kyle Shanahan is one of the best in the league. Now, they're at 47%. Now, the Bears were at 5 of 14, which is 36%, and that is not good. The Bears' offense is very inept. And then, of course, the Niners were 0-2 because they were trying to win the game near the stretch, try to get their points. I don't really count fourth down efficiency like that. But money time, the Bears have got to clean that up. Justin Fields, they've got to figure out a way to get him in a quick throw, get him in a hitch play or a slant or a drag to try to get the ball out. Because if you do that, your third down efficiency goes up. You got to be able to make those plays or you're not going to go far this year. That's just facts. Now, they were 0-0 fourth down because they were up ahead. Now, total plays, of course, was 56 plays. The Bears had 56 plays to the San Francisco 49ers 67 plays. You know, they had 67 plays. The Niners did to the Bears 56, and they had 11 more plays. Now, usually when this happens, the other team basically either allowed a lot of sacks or punted the ball a lot or had turnovers. Now, let's go to the sacks allowed. Both teams were even at 2. Both offensive lines did well yesterday. Chicago Bears and the Niners did well in protection yesterday. They let their quarterback not get knocked around too much. Now, punts, the Bears had 6 compared to the Niners 4, which is okay, but they got to limit that. They got to limit that. The Bears have to limit a third down play. They have to get their third downs in order or they're not going to make it long. Now, let's see. Penalties. This is why the game was done, because the refs screwed the game, allegedly. They took the game out of the Niners' hands. The Niners would have won this game convincingly. They were given 12 penalties for 99 yards compared to the Bears' 3 for 24 yards. This is why the game was lost, because of the penalties and the screwing of the game. Now, fumbles lost. The Niners had 1 to the Bears 0. Interceptions thrown about the same 1. So the Niners had 2 turnovers and the Bears had 1. Time of possession, the Niners had the ball for 33 minutes and 28 seconds. The Bears had it for 26 minutes and 32 seconds. So let's do this. I'm going to do this for you guys. Minus 26.32. So, of course, the Niners had the ball for 6 minutes and 96 seconds more. So the reason that they lost was because of the screw job penalties. The Niners would have won this game by a touchdown or 2, but because of when they were calling the penalties, it slowed their offense down and it put Trey Lance in a bind. Chicago fans, your Bears are still trash. Okay? Your offense is inept. You have dumb coordinators. Justin Fields is going to get hurt this year because you guys are trying to do the dumbest things instead of running the ball. If you guys ran the ball more, you guys would have been fine. But your offense is very stagnant. If you go against the team, if you're in a better weather game, you guys aren't going to win that many games. You guys will get beat. But I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you guys are not going 4-0. And that's the Gavin. Shout out to Scoochie Poochie. That's my boy there. That's my guy. But, dog, I'm sorry, Scooch. You and Sledge, I love both of y'all. But your Bears are still mediocre. I still don't think y'all could beat the Vikings or the Lions. And the Packers, they're going to cheat for them. So we know. But that's the reason the Niners lost, because they got screwed with 12 penalties for 99 yards. That's why. Now, let's break down the score. All this allegedly. First quarter, both teams had 0. Second quarter, San Fran had 7. Third quarter, San Fran had 3. Bears had 7. Fourth quarter, Bears had 12. Score was 19-10. Bears won. So that's the reason why that game was what it was. This game, I gave a D. I gave this game here an F. Because the game was taken away from us. The entertainment aspect, the real game was taken away from us. This game was an F. And the referees in the league ought to be ashamed of themselves how they screwed this game. But hey, can't sue them because why? They're sports entertainment. All this I'm talking about is allegedly. So, now, let me see. What was the next game that was on? It was a blowout. What was the next game, man? I would like somebody's here that could talk to me. Okay, Kansas City and Arizona Cardinals. Okay, let me see if they got this. I know they got the stats of this game, The team stats. Oh, non-available. Okay, so I'll go over here because they don't want me to tell you guys what happened in the game. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. Now, Kansas City played Arizona. First quarter, KC had 14 to Arizona 0. Second quarter, Kansas City had 9. Arizona had 7. Third quarter, KC had 14. Arizona 0. Fourth quarter, KC had 7. Arizona had 14. So the final score was 44-21. Now, total yards, Kansas City had 488 to the Arizona Cardinals 282. Passing yards, the KC had 360 to their 179. Rushing yards, they had 128 to the Cardinals 103. Yards per play, Chiefs were averaging 7 yards per play, Cardinals 5. First downs, Chiefs had 33 to the Cardinals 18. Third down efficiency, they were 5 of 8, the Chiefs, and that's because they were scoring so much. They didn't really need to get a lot of third down. So they were 63% on the day. The Cardinals were 3-12. This is also why they lost the game. So that's 25%. 25%. Now we're going to fourth down efficiency. The Cardinals were 3 of 4, which is good, 75%. But fourth down really don't mean nothing. You're mainly trying to win. The Chiefs were 1-1, which is 100. Total plays were about even, 66 for the Chiefs, 63 for the Cardinals. Sacks allowed, the Cardinals had 3 compared to the Chiefs 0. Patrick Mahomes was upright all day, had a clean pocket, and he could roll out and was clean. Punts, Cardinals had 5 compared to the 2 by the Chiefs. Now, penalties, really wasn't a real penalized game. It was really an okay game. They let it slide. The Chiefs had 3 penalties for 25 yards. The Cardinals had 5 penalties for 49 yards. Fumbles lost, the Chiefs had 1. The Cardinals didn't turn the ball over. They didn't lose a fumble or interception thrown. So Kansas City had 1 turnover. Cardinals had 0. Now, time of possession, this is really the difference of the game. This is why Chiefs really won the game, was because the Chiefs had they had the ball for 34 minutes and 42 seconds. And the Cardinals had the ball for 25 minutes and 18 seconds, which, of course, the Chiefs had the ball 9 more minutes and 24 seconds than the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'm going to say this now, and people are going to probably get mad. I'm not exonerating Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray does have to be better. Everything Chance said about Kyler Murray is correct as far as he needs to learn how to get that ball out of there. But, dog, when you have nothing but gadget players at receiver, Dortch was basically the best thing yesterday. And I believe Ertz is hurt, and I believe DeAndre Hopkins is out due to like that PED thing, allegedly. And then Marquise Brown showed you yesterday that he's not a receiver. He's a gadget player. He's overrated, okay? Kyler Murray's with a coach who was... Hold on, let me pull up Kingsbury's record. Cliff Kingsbury, his record. Let me tell you guys, if you're white, you'll get a job all the time. Even when you're winning, even if you're doing what you do. Now, here it is. I'm gonna show you guys this. All right, now in the NCAA, okay, Cliff Kingsbury was 35-40. That's 47%. And you know who he had at quarterback? Patrick Mahomes. Because of him, Patrick Mahomes was seen as a project player, not gonna be great. Ever since Patrick left him, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win in the Super Bowl, multiple AFC championships, well, 3 AFC championships, I believe, or 4. So What's up? Kyler Murray, ever since he got there, has gotten the Cardinals to the playoffs every year. Do you know why the Cardinals lose? Because you have a coach out here too busy worrying about banging European supermodels, allegedly, hitting up his best friend Sean McVay for tickets for the front row for him to sit there. So stop telling me that Kyler's the problem when this coach can't play. This is why they forced Kyler to sign that dumbass contract and put an addendum in there, because Cliff is trash. They're trying to protect their white boy. And all this is allegedly, by the way. And guess what his NFL record is? 24-25-1. That's 49%. So don't tell me about who's good and who's not at coach. I come with facts, not BS stats, because he got a total yards and this and that. That don't mean you're great. But this game was dominated like from the beginning. The Chiefs, the only thing I'm concerned about with the Chiefs is I want Pat to stay in the pocket a little more, even though he did show improvement. I just want him to be a little stronger in the pocket and continue using the running game. That running back they got, his name is, what was his name? Hold on, guys. His name is, it's not Hilaire. It's Hilaire. And, yeah, Pacheco. Pacheco was a big pickup for them. He's going to be key down the stretch. You have him, Hilaire, and McKinnon. If the Chiefs stick with running the ball, I don't see the Chiefs losing. Defensively, they need to tighten up. They did well pass rushing. They got a good pass rush defense. The stopping of the run, they were okay, but I want to see them be a little more stout. A little more stout, but the Chiefs look good. This game was a wash for the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury should have been fired last year. He's terrible. It's because of his game plan that they lost this game, and Kyler Murray has got to learn how to stop being dumb and make better decisions. But Kyler did pretty good for the bullshit plays that he was running. He didn't throw no picks. There was no turnover. So the problem is your game plan, Cliff. Run the ball. Let's look at this. Rushing for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, 29 yards. Had the most of anybody. Eno Benjamin, 28 yards. He was averaging 7 yards per carry. Why wouldn't you keep running with Eno Benjamin? Huh? James Conner, 26 yards. Guess how many carries? 10 carries. Eno had 4. So that's 3 yards per carry Conner had. But why didn't you keep running with Eno Benjamin? Then you had Trace McSorley, who's a receiver. He ran, I think, a little wide receiver run. He had 20 yards for 7 yards per pop. Why didn't you keep running the ball? I know why. Because you suck. Because this is your record. NCAA 35-40. Career 24-25-1. Well, you're 26 now. 24-26-1 now because you lost yesterday. Now, that's enough of that BS game. That game I gave that game a C+. That was a C+ game because it was impressive to see what the Chiefs were doing. Miko Hartman got to learn how to get more on the same page. You know, they're going to need him to be the new Tyreek, man. He got to catch the big plays. But they did well managing the game, and Patrick looked good yesterday. He had a great game. I give him an A-. Give him an A- yesterday. Kyler Murray, I give a C-. Okay? At quarterback. So, let's see. What was the next game that we saw? Where's Atlanta, Cleveland, Carolina, San Francisco, Pitt, and Cincinnati. We saw that one. I saw the Chiefs and Cardinals. And then the next one was the slaughtering of Crybaby Rodgers. Crybaby. It's the birth of the crybaby. It's the birth of the crybaby. Man, let me stop, man. Now, let's look at this. Now, okay, I'm going to go through these quick, guys. Now, Green Bay had 0 points in the first quarter, 7 points in the first quarter. Was the Vikings. Green Bay had 0 in the second. Minnesota had 10 in the second. Green Bay had 7 in the third. Minnie had 3. Fourth quarter, Pack had zip and 3 for the Vikes. So the score was 23-7 Minnesota. Like I say, I look at team stats. I only went to show y'all the individual stats because I had to prove a point to everybody that Cliff Kingsbury cost the Cardinals that game because everybody wants to blast Murray. But Murray gets some fault. I give Murray 20%, but I give Cliff 80. Well, actually, I give Kyler 10 and give Cliff 90. That's my thing of that game. Now, total yards, Green Bay had 338, Vikings had 395. Passing yards, Vikings had 269, Green Bay had 227. Rushing yards, Vikings had 126, Green Bay had 111. Yards per play, Vikings had 7 a pop, Green Bay had 6. First downs, Green Bay had more with 21 to the Vikings 19. Now, here's where the game was lost for, of course. Well, yeah, this game was lost. You had the Packers were 3 and 9 from third down. So that is 33%. And the Vikings were 4 of 13, 4 of 13, which was 31%. So they were a little better on third down than them. Both teams weren't good. Fourth down efficiency, 0-2 for Green Bay. 1 of 1 from the Vikes. Total plays, they were both tied at 61. Sacks allowed, Packers gave up 4. Vikings only gave up 1. Packers had 4 punts. The Vikings had 5. Penalties, the Packers only had 2 for 10 yards. The Vikings had 3 for 20 yards. And fumbles lost. This is why they lost the game. The Packers had 2 picks. They had 1 fumble, 1 pick, so that's 2 turnovers. Vikings had no turnovers. Time of possession, the Vikings had the ball from 31 minutes and 23 seconds. Packers had the ball for 28 minutes and 37 seconds. And that's the difference between 2 minutes and 86 seconds. The reason that the Packers lost the game was because of sacks allowed, QB pressures that were getting to Aaron Rodgers. The running game was fine. They kept the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands too much. And that's why they lost. They should have kept giving it to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was killing. A.J. Dillon was killing. Give the ball to them. The Packers are not – I don't think the Packers are going to fall off really. If they run the ball more and limit Aaron Rodgers to 20 to 25 throws a game, which I know they're not because Aaron Rodgers is an asshole / prick / bum. So he's going to try to get his stats. So the reason that they lost this game was because basically they were bad on third downs. Now the Vikings were worse on third downs, but the Vikings, they didn't allow that many sacks. They only allowed 1 sack. And they didn't have any turnovers. So that's why they won the game. They had a flawless game. So that's why they won. So the Packers, what they have to do offensively is run the ball more. Okay? Here, let me tell you. Now this is when you go to the individual stats. Aaron Jones was averaging 10 yards per carry. Guess how many carries Aaron Jones had? 5. A.J. Dillon was averaging 5 yards per carry. Guess how many carries he had? 10. Right? All right. So you got to run the ball more. Aaron Rodgers was trash. He was trash yesterday. Let's look at the rushing for the Vikings. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries, 90 yards, averaged 5 a pop. Alexander Madison, 8 carries, 36 yards, averaged 5 a pop. Justin Jefferson destroyed them yesterday. Justin Jefferson might be the best receiver, if not in the top 3 this year. Oh, man, he was a beast. He balled out. But the reason you Packers lost is you didn't run the ball enough. Defensively, the defense was on the field too long. And for them to only give up 23 points was great. So run the ball more. F Crybaby Rodgers' feelings. He's a bum, okay? Now the Vikings. Continue running the ball. Continue giving the ball to Justin Jefferson. Play defense. Shout out to Zay. What's his name? The guy on the defense, who went from there to the Vikings. He was on the Zadarius Smith, aka Zay Smith. Shout out to Zay. Zay's impact of rushing the passer and getting a sack, doing his thing, changed the game. And guess what all the Packer players did? Packers players went over there and gave him a hug, a big hug, a love. Because you know why? They don't like Crybaby. The receivers yesterday, they didn't want to play for Crybaby at all. They didn't want to play for that boy at all. There was receivers on the sideline sitting at the other end. They ain't want to have nothing to do with that chump. Okay? He's a bum. The Vikings, this game here, I give this game a B, B minus. No, I give it a B. This was a good game. I give it a B. Because it showed you who the Vikings are and it showed you who Crybaby Rodgers was. So it was beautiful. I give it a B because of that. Matter of fact, yeah, I give it a B. I might give it an A. I give it an A just to see Crybaby get his ass whooped. I give it an A. Beautiful. Now, the last game. You already know. We them boys. I'm going to show you why they lost. Wow. Is he stupid? That's football. Shake my damn. But yeah, here we go. Now, total yards, okay, let me go over the thing. The Bucks had 6 points in the first. Dallas had 3. Tampa had 6 in the second quarter, 0 for the second. Tampa had 6 in the first quarter. Dallas had 3. Second quarter, Tampa had 6. Dallas had 0. Tampa had 7 in the third. Dallas had 0. Fourth quarter, both teams had 0. Game ended 19-3. It was a boring game. Game was an F in my opinion. It was a trash-ass game. So now, let's look at the team stats. Total yards, Bucks had 347 to the Cowboys 244. Passing yards, 195 by the Bucks to the Cowboys 173. Rushing yards, Cowboys had 152 to the... No, my bad. Let me do that again. Total yards, Bucks had 347 to the Cowboys 244. Passing yards, Bucks had 195, Cowboys had 173. Rushing yards, Bucks had 152, Cowboys had 71. Let me repeat. Bucks had 152, Cowboys had 71. Yards per play, Cowboys averaged 4, the Bucks averaged 6. Now, first downs. Bucks had 18 compared to the Cowboys 12. Third down efficiency. So, now let me look at this. Now, we're going to look at this. Now, third down efficiency. The Bucks were 5 of 14, which is 36%. Very bad. Cowboys were 3 of 15, which is 20%. Horrible. Fourth down efficiency, the Cowboys had to go for it to try to come back. They were 2 of 5, which was 40%. Total plays, Cowboys 64, Bucks 62. Sacks allowed, Cowboys allowed 4 compared to the Bucks 2. Punts, pretty good on that. Bucks had 3, Cowboys had 5. Now, this is where the game was lost. The Bucks had 10 penalties for 73 yards. I mean, the Cowboys had 10 penalties for 73 yards. So, let me do that again. My bad, guys. Yeah. Penalties. Cowboys had 10 penalties for 73 yards. Bucks had 5 penalties for 25 yards. Now, the turnovers, they both had 0 fumbles for both teams, 1 pick thrown by each. Time of possession, you had 32 minutes and 42 seconds by the Bucks to the Cowboys 27 minutes and 18 seconds, and the difference between that was 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So pretty even. The reason that the Cowboys lost was they stopped running the ball. They tried to pass too much, and they don't really have any great receivers. Kellen Moore needs to be fired. Jerry Jones needs to get put into a home where he can stay there away from the team and stop effing up the Cowboys because he doesn't know shit about football. They lost the game because of penalties and lack of running the ball. Now, let me show you this. Because the Bucks didn't play good yesterday. The Bucks was trash. Now, let's look at this. Look at the run. Ezekiel Elliott had 52 yards for averaging 5 yards a pop. Tony Pollard had 1.3. Dak had 6. Guess how many times Zeke and Pollard carried the ball? 10 and 6 times. Let's see how many attempts Dak threw the ball. 29 because he got hurt. But they were doing well in the beginning. Dallas was running the ball. They were moving the ball. Dallas could have won this game if they would have just ran the ball. But no. You wanted to do these trick plays, Kellen Moore. You wanted Dak to throw the damn ball. Stop playing. Dak is not Brady, okay? He's not Peyton. He's not Drew Brees. He's more of an Eli or Tony Romo guy, a manager. If you let them try to take the game over, they lose. Run the damn ball. Zeke looked it great yesterday. Not good, not okay, great. Pollard barely got the ball. You giving Pollard the ball 5-6 yards behind the line. Of course he kept getting tackled. God, dog, it's every year the Cowboys show you the same bullshit. And I'm tired of it because this is my dad's team. My dad grew up on the Cowboys in the 70s when their inception was the 60s. They came into their inception in the 60s and they won Super Bowls in the 70s and they ain't win again until the 90s. But they were competitive in the 80s. They got to the playoffs. They may have lost, but they were there. Now you guys can't do nothing. Trash. Over 20-some years, Jerry Jones has ran this franchise into the ground. Cowboy fans, I just broke the game down to you. Wake up, smell the coffee, stop being dumb. Here's the smelly salt, wake up. Now, Tom Brady, he wasn't that good yesterday, but he managed the game. Tom Brady's a game manager. But Leonard Fournette is the reason why we won, because we nullified the pass rush. How do you stop a Micah Parsons? Run the ball. How do you stop a Shaq Barrett on the other side and Devin White? Run the ball. Okay? Okay? And then the chip block was not a cheap shot. Micah Parsons, stop crying like a bitch or a little punk. You got chip blocked. That was your ass. This game here was a D. It was a D because it was garbage. Overall. Now, we will be watching the game tonight, Denver and Seattle. We already made our picks. This is the final game of the week. Everybody picked Sierra Wilson to win tonight. So it really ain't going to do much in the standings. But shout out for Detroit T. Shout out to my brother, Detroit Hollywood T, man. Thank you, man. I love you, my brother. You winning so far. You won week 1. Shout out to my other brother, Scrub Zero. I love you, my little bro. You second place. Shout out to my baby boy, S Young. That's my baby. That's my brother, Miramar, in the house. Shout out to Miramar, man. We tied right now, man, for third place. Shout out to One True, man. I love my brother, One True. Nigeria in the house. Be More Ravens won, man. Big Trust won yesterday. Shout out to my boy One True. He's last right now, but my boy will bounce back next week. So thank you guys, man, for your love and blessings, man. Tell me if you like my assessment. If you don't, please give me your assessment of the game. Please make it clean. If you're being disrespectful, I will block you and kick you off the page. It's nothing personal. It's just business. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this, hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you love what you hear, you can go to the description box, hit that link to my Cash App, donate whatever your heart's desire. And if you guys are at a live or a premiere video, you can super chat. And if you don't do those three, at least do a super thanks. You can do it in the comment section. You can hit the thanks button. It'll be left of your super thanks. Thank you guys for your love and blessings, man. We are out. And this is Deezy.